exposed to different classrooms, different sort of areas of the game, different ways to teach, different ways to look at it is important for those guys. Because again, whether you're a safety down in the box or a linebacker in the box, it's the same learning, it's the same teaching. Maybe some of the fits or the points of emphasis are a little bit different. So we're trying to make sure that he gets as much of that as possible.
Matt, can you get more out of the 5 hours here over the last 2 days, yesterday, today, than you will Friday night?
I mean, there's a huge, amount of learning and obviously competition and evaluation that goes into Friday night, so that can't be underestimated. But this is certainly a big part of the week for us, a big part of training camp to, be able to get that evaluation and get some work done in, and obviously have a chance to look at, some other team and how they do things, and hopefully grow and learn from all that. So it's really the holistic kind of approach of growing as a team, letting our guys have a chance to compete, get better, and there's a good element too where we can take a look at some things here through the course of practice that we might not necessarily look at on Friday night.
How much are you going to play Stafford and your other starters
Friday? Yeah, I'm just trying to get through today's practice right here and make sure I get everybody going in the right direction. So we'll find out on Friday.
Matt, does it make...
One other thing about Friday, it's the first time you're going to be dealing with the anthem. How are you going to deal with that?
Yeah, again, we're all that stuff is in house. We're all good on that. Again, today's practice is the most important thing right now. So that's what we're doing.
Matt, knowing that you're probably not going to play your starters much at all, does that make what you're doing out here even more important? Because it's probably the more extensive that you're going to get to see your starters against another team starter.
Well, the good thing about this is that when we script a lot of the situations that come up, it's always, you're kind of guessing on whether or not any of that's going to come up during a game. And you're hoping that maybe a certain scenario will come up. But when we have an opportunity to script it and be able to put those guys in that situation, we can control it better, which obviously, we need to do so that when it does come up in a game or, during the season that we're kind of prepared for it. So that's a big part of today, too, is just the getting the good work here, but actually being able to kind of control what we're looking at from a situational standpoint. So that's critically important.
Coach, the goal line has been a huge emphasis for you. Short yardage has been a huge emphasis for you. What did you see yesterday from your guys in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the goal line was great. Had a good opportunity to go compete against another different goal line look. And they actually do a little bit of a different deal than what we do. So that was huge to have those adjustments and be able to kind of attack that from that standpoint. I think it's another area of the field where hopefully you're trying to keep everything in close quarters, trying to decrease the whole time and space element of the play like goal line does, and just, really try to keep it basic. So it's not a really big scheme thing for us. It's just a fundamental technique. Get off the ball, move somebody off the ball, try to defeat a block, and then see if you can, run the ball downhill. Kept it very basic. Coach Gruden's been great about, working with us as far as that's concerned, and just try to get a good evaluation. So the goal line is something that, again, it's one of those plays that when it comes up in a game, it's critical. Obviously 1 yard to gain there to either score or prevent a score, you got to execute at a high level. So as much work as we can get on it, and practice it is critical for us. We got a lot of work to do. It's kind of in the initial stages. I would say when we've had the opportunity to do that at home against our own guys, it got better, the second day. I would say yesterday, obviously being a different look and some different people, we had, try to keep improving that the next time.
Coach, at one point in that drill, you stepped in and talked to both sides.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yeah, Coach Gruden and I, again, we've just done a great job of trying to make sure everybody understands the situation, and how we're just going to do the drill in general to keep it as live as we can, but also protect everybody. The idea out here is to keep everybody safe, and both sides just want to come out healthy and get better. So, it was great. Their guys were great, listening to all the rules or parameters of the play from that standpoint. Our guys, they're used to that, obviously, from me from that standpoint. But I thought we came away with just a good, healthy period, obviously, and, that's what we're looking for.
When you run these joint practices, obviously the intensity ramps up a little bit. Yesterday, did you find some guys were more prepared for that than others?
You know what? It's a good observation from a standpoint. You have different levels of guys on your team, certainly, right? So a guy that may be a 10-year vet as opposed to that first-year guy that's really kind of stepping into this environment for the first time. There's a huge difference of learning, intensity, focus, concentration that goes into that. Anytime you play the game, you can always remember the first play of every game. You get a little bit of jitters. You got to kind of get that first hit out of your system, and then you can kind of settle down and go. So it was a good opportunity for especially the young guys who haven't been through that before. But I would say even the older guys, it's the first kind of live contact with somebody different, and it escalates each time we do it. So when we do it in our own training camp against ourselves, there's a certain level of intensity that's involved, and then the little bit of the unknown that goes into going against another team. You don't really know those guys as well. That kind of increases all that too.
Matt, your defense did a nice job forcing some turnovers in the team segment yesterday. What does that say, or what does that speak to with how they're adjusting to their fits and these schematic shifts that you're making?
Sure. practice, we're trying to do the best we can to, execute those things at a high level. There's situations in there where I think we can do more, we can do better, and we can keep working on it. It's obviously a big point of emphasis for us, as you guys have noted. We're trying to do that stuff in pre-practice and as we go through and work some drills where we put focus and fundamentals on securing the ball and also trying to get the ball. So good to see a couple of those situations come up. We can coach them. A lot of them really, it's the coaching that goes behind it. You may only see the balls that do come out, but there's also the missed opportunities to notice if a ball security may be a little bit loose here or there, or the nose of the ball is either up or down or the elbow's out. Some of those things from our players and an opponent player, and it's good study at that point to really teach the guys. We go into a week, game week, some of the things we're looking for to try to attack.
Does it make it easier to teach some of the scheme things when you have another team to show some of those film clips on?
Yeah, it kind of helps you get in that mindset of, you're kind of in the 2 weeks of camp where you're just kind of grinding on each other and you're pretty familiar. And even coming out of the spring where a lot of the stuff is very similar, and now you get an opportunity to really get a different look, a different idea of what some other teams do, philosophy of how they build the team from a standpoint, even just explaining to, the coaches, where's the head coach, what's his philosophy, what's his background, what's his point of emphasis, both sides of the ball, what are the coordinators, the special teams, and then even through the draft, how do they build their team, what is their team makeup, and just try to get the guys to understand. That's important information for us week in, week out to understand.
Does this entire week kind of give you something to evaluate the players on as well? You're practicing down the park, they travel, they're in a different spot.
Yeah.
Practicing against a different team, then playing a game. I mean, it's a pretty solid progression.
It is, and it's really something we can relate, especially coming out of I don't know what day it was, Monday when we left. We kind of went in the morning. We had a good practice in the morning just to try to transition. Okay, hey, man, this is like a Saturday in our world. We're going to have to come in. We're going to have to practice. We're going to have to focus, execute, and then we're going to have to travel. We're going to have to get on a plane. We're going to have to go someplace. We're going to have to get settled into a new environment and get back on a routine and get up the next day and be able to go compete at a high level. So that was great yesterday, just making that transition from Monday to Tuesday and really kind of giving the guys a chance to see that firsthand. And, it's like everything. The first time you travel, there's so many different things that come up that you got to, outside of just the game, that you got to address from a logistics standpoint, and getting the guys to understand, okay, you have to handle that, but you can't lose focus on really what's most important, and that's your preparation for the next day. And that was a good learning tool for us.
Hey, Coach, one of the great mysteries of Detroit sports in recent years has been what defense you'll bring to the Detroit Lions. How much of that will be unveiled Friday night at 10:30 local time?
Yeah, the defense just in general, we're just going to hopefully try to be all right when we get out there. We'll see what that looks like. But, I think you guys will have a full understanding of everything we're going to do for the entire season when we get done with that game on Friday. I think you guys will have, I think that's pretty much what my plan is, to just give you guys everything. We'll go from there.
What do you want to get out of that game? What are your objectives?
That's obviously a great opportunity for us to just get into that mode, where we got to get to the stadium. We got to get into our routine of getting yourself ready to go. Warm-ups are obviously a little bit different, from the pregame part of it, the pregame stretch, kind of mentally and emotionally getting yourself ready to go. And then obviously handling the situations. We try to replicate as much as we can with the, the changing of periods from offense to defense to special team, and just like it is in the game. But you really can't get that until you get to the game actual experience. And then there will be adjustments that will come up in the game, and the sideline procedure. It's just all of it. We have to go through all of it multiple times to really just try to get it down, so that when we get to that, that live game there, the start of the season, that we're operating at a high level.
Is part of that with the play clock and all that?
Sure.
On your own time, you've got
a lot of it, and also is the officials. Obviously they're the ones that control the game and they run the game. So even though, they're doing a great job out here, and we had them last week, and they're trying to do everything they can, the game part of it's different. There's obviously much more structured management to that they can control at that point. Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks. Yep.
10:05.